In 1856, on the floor of the U.S. Senate, abolitionist Senator Charles Sumner gave a speech called The Crimes Against Kansas. Sumner attacked the Kansas-Nebraska Act and personally named and insulted two other senators for pushing the bill he believed promoted violence in Kansas and the spread of slavery. Days later, the cousin of one of the insulted senators, Congressman Preston Brooks, walked on the floor of the Senate and savagely attacked Sumner with a cane. Sumner would not return to the floor of the Senate for 3 years, and Brooks received a $300 fine for the assault. The event was depicted very differently in the North and South. Review the cartoon and newspaper article below and answer the questions. Here's the cartoon. Southern chivalry argument versus clubs. The sympathetic Northern cartoonist portrayed Senator Charles Sumner's May 1856 beating by South Carolina Representative Preston Brooks. Columbia, South Carolina, South Carolinian, 27 May 1856. Public approval of Mr. Brooks. We were not mistaken in asserting on Saturday last that the Honorable Preston S. Brooks had not only the approval, but the hearty congratulations of the people of South Carolina for his summary chastisement of the abolitionist Sumner. Immediately upon the reception of the news on Saturday last, a most enthusiastic meeting was convened in the town of Newbury, at which General Williams, the intendant, presided. Complimentary resolutions were introduced by General A.C. Garlington, and ardent speeches made by him, Colonel S. Fair, Major Henry Sumner, and others. The meeting voted him a handsome gold-headed cane, which we saw yesterday on its way to Washington, entrusted to the care of Honorary B. Simpson. At Anderson, the same evening, a meeting was called and complimentary resolutions adopted. We heard one of Carolina's truest and most honored matrons from Mr. Brooks's district send a message to him by Major Simpson, saying that the ladies of the South would send him hickory sticks with which to chastise abolitionists and red Republicans whenever he wanted them. Here in Columbia, a handsome sum, headed by the governor of the state, has been subscribed for the purpose of presenting Mr. Brooks with a splendid silver pitcher, goblet, and stick, which will be conveyed to him in a few days by the hands of gentlemen delegated for that purpose. In Charleston, similar testimonials have been ordered by the friends of Mr. Brooks. And, to add the crowning glory to the good work, the slaves of Columbia have already a handsome subscription and will present an appropriate token of their regard to him who has made the first practical issue for their preservation and protection in their rights and enjoyments as the happiest laborers on the face of the globe. Meetings of approval and sanction will be held not only in Mr. Brooks's district, but throughout the state at large, and a general and hearty response of approval will re-echo the words, "Well done," from Washington to the Rio Grande. Now for the questions. Answer the questions based on the cartoon and newspaper article. Number 1. What is the cartoonist's opinion of the Charles Sumner beating? Explain. What does the newspaper article think of the Charles Sumner beating? Explain. What did South Carolina politicians and people do for Preston Brooks to demonstrate their opinion of his attack on Sumner? Explain. The attack was depicted very differently in the North and South. How do you think the Charles Sumner beating gave rise to more difficulty in avoiding a civil war? Explain your answer.